let's start here. Something I like to ask everybody that comes on the show. It's what's something that you've done recently, that just is forever in your memory that you would do again. It could be anything, the simplest thing, whether it was you hugged a friend yesterday or, you know, you fell and you wish, you can go back and, you know, look out for the empty cracks or the cracks in the wall, in the hole or whatever, just whatever it is that you experienced over the last few days that you would love to relive again. What would that thing be and why?
Oh, I would it probably, I mean, over the last few days, it would probably have to be worship. I remember I was in church that day and I was just like, the worship was so good. Like, I seen myself like spiritually evolving, right? Just pushing myself to just want to honor God in just such a way that I've never done before. And it was so good that it moved me so much, like internally. And I got to actually come out of my body to see, like, wow, like, this is you really spiritually evolving and growing. And I wouldn't mind going back to that moment because I feel like it's a sense of gratitude and like something I'm just going to keep holding dear to me because I'm literally watching myself grow before my eyes.
Hmm. In the foster system, I did want to touch on that a little bit. What do you think are some misunderstanding about kids growing up in that system?
I think, ooh, I think there's a lot of misunderstandings about the kids who grow in the foster care system. I think one being that they aren't deserving, because I felt like me being in the foster care system, it was like exactly that, like you statistic now, that's it. Like you literally like life has conditioned you to be that now, like and there's nothing you could do about it, and you lucky if you make it out. So it was one of those. So I feel like it's one of those things where it's like they're the forgotten about. Like literally, they're like literally forgotten about. Like they actually, the kids in the foster care system. If anything, I would want to. I look forward to getting older and adopting because that's really what I want to do because somebody helped me and I want to do the same exact thing, right? But to circle back to your question, I feel like for me, what my experience was like I'm in foster care now, and I felt forgotten about. Like damn, like nobody. Okay, like I'm in a household with a stranger who's taking on the responsibility of being my caregiver, but I feel the gap of like this person is doing it for a check. They're not doing it because they genuinely want to be in relations and want to nurture a child and want to take a kid under their wing and you know give them the things that they didn't have. Right? It felt more of just like I'm just here and I'm just not even deserving. Right? So I'm just here. This lady's gonna collect her check from the state, giving me a place to stay, and feeding me some meals if I got that, right? But for me, I always felt like I ain't belong. Like I don't belong. I don't belong nowhere. My mom don't want me, and now I'm in another household with somebody else who who is choosing, right, to be a foster caregiver, and they don't even want me themselves. So you start to feel like, damn, like am I deserving? Like I'm just a forgotten about. Like, do I not deserve love? Do I not deserve to be nurtured? Do I not deserve to be cared for? Do I not deserve a second chance on the behalf of what my parents did? Like I know my parents, left me astray. Cool, but I'm a kid. I can't fend for myself, right? So I had no choice but to look to the adults around me to fend for me. And damn, y'all self don't even want to give me a second chance to like tell me like, hey, the things that happened to you weren't your fault and you were deserving of that. Like you deserve your mom being there and being present. But she wasn't, and I'm here to show you that you're deserving of that. And I think that a lot of foster care kids, that'd be the issue. Like we start to feel like, damn, like we're forgotten about. And once you feel like you're forgotten about, you go down this like huge cycle of just like you end up nowhere.
Mhm.
It's like it's literally destruction.
Yeah.
It's a path to destruction.
Does that create a hatred in your heart? And I wonder for what, like for people, or is hatred not the right word? Or does it a boundary maybe?
I wouldn't say hatred. I would definitely say it created like a lot of resentment. A lot of resentment between me and like people who I seen as caring, right? But that's because I didn't have a parent, right? Who I wanted. Well, my mom was around, but she wasn't active, right? So it made me have like resentment toward the system because it's like, you guys are not vetting out these caregivers correctly, right? And just allowing anybody who has a household with an extra bedroom the opportunity to raise a child. Like it's not fair, right? You're not vetting out. So of course resentment toward the system. I'm just looking at them like, damn, like y'all literally set us up for destruction. It's finest. Um, But then also too to like, I guess to people, now that I'm growing older, I'm 23, I feel like I look at people just a little different now. Like I'm just like, I'm hoping that my discernment is strengthened enough for me to be able to judge people very well. Because I feel like, that experience as a kid definitely made me just side eye a lot of people, just like, what are you guys' motives? So that seed was planted for me as a kid. Every time I walk into a room, I'm like, God, like, show me what I need to see. Like, may the spirit just move me so that I don't miss out on whatever I need to get, right? Because trauma would tell me, hey, this person is out to get you. They want to use you. All wrong intent, right? But that's the seed that was planted as a kid, right? Being in the foster care system. Whereas discernment, right? In the spiritual realm helps you to be able to actually see things, for maybe what they exactly are. Maybe
I would think from what you just described, you're the type of person, or anybody in that situation, yearn for love. Like,
I'm living in it right now also still. Just having this desire of like, okay, I didn't have a mom figure, I didn't have that. I didn't have my biological mom, but I happened to be blessed with, my adopted mom, my foster mom, Yandy Smith. Um, and I got that experience, right, of what a mother's and daughter's relationship would look like. But then you still have these like wounds, still like, still just like, I still don't feel deserving. I still don't feel like the seed was just planted, right, for so long. And now I'm like still having this desire of like, I want love, like I want love, right? So now I'm older, now I'm stepping into my identity. And I want to date a romantic relationship. And I'm just like, damn, um, trying to figure that out. And you just laying yourself in not some good spaces, right? Because you coming into a relationship was an open wound, right? And that's because you yearned for something so much that you idolized it, right? Which means you start to fixate situations to be what you want them to be and not see them for what they really are.
yeah, you specifically, I feel like from your story, you know, you got robbed of your youth, of being a kid. So I wonder, what do you feel like? Do you ever think about things that you missed that you would like to have experienced?
I didn't get to be a kid. I was literally probably like 12 years old. I was 12 and probably like a 7 to 8 year old body. It literally like my physical body was there, but the wisdom, the things that I've experienced and seen was way beyond my ear, right? So I do feel like I got robbed from a lot of stuff. Like I wish I got to feel like I wish I got to have those intimate moments where like, like I can't remember a toy I had. Like, I can't remember like a memory of me, like, somewhere sitting down with me and playing with something. I don't remember having those type of experiences. Like, and when I look back, I'm like, damn, like, I know like the little girl in me sometimes just wish somebody just came and like sat with her, just in the simplest way. And now translation, there's a parallel to my adulthood, right? Where it's like, I struggle with being alone because I'm associating being alone with like, to me, it's a bad thing. Like you're not just deserving your life. You stay over there. Like, we don't even want to touch you. We don't even want to be associated with you, right? So that's how I felt as a kid. So coming into my adulthood, I feel like almost like that same way. Like, yeah, like you just not deserving. And I'm working through those emotions and those feelings, in therapy, of course. I just started taking that serious. But I do feel like I was robbed of a lot of things, and I'm 23 physically now, and I'm seeing like the things that I see my younger self. I see the kid in me show up, and I'm just like, oh, there she goes. But I'm glad that I'm able to just acknowledge her, like, and just say like, like these days I feel like I'm coming out of a breakup, and God, like, thank you for my breakup because it has done something like so new in me, and that breakup just like it mirrored me. It showed me just so much that I didn't even recognize that I was dealing with. Like I just was so wounded in so many different places. And now I feel like coming out of the breakup, I'm just able to just recognize those wounds. And now I'm just like, I'm ready to address them. I'm ready to talk about them. I'm ready to take myself back to those moments and relive the memory to get those wounds. Like, they don't go away. You get a scar, you get a boo-boo, you get a cut. It might fade. It might look like a cut there, but it's there. So for me, I'm just glad like I'm in a space now where I could see like, my younger self, and I'll see her coming up in certain situations, and I gotta kind of like, hey, Gotta let your 23-year-old self be here, trust her judgment, and trust that, she gonna take care of you.
Mm-hmm. Let's walk back real quick because I did want to bring up Yandy. You brought her up. You brought her up a few times, but I'm glad you did because I wanted to ask you a few questions. One, when she made that decision to bring you into her home, one, what did that mean to you? Actually, yeah, let's stop right there first.
I think it was literally the tangible, physical, like, idea of, like, hope, right? Because I always felt like, oh, I want more, right? Being a kid, I'm like, they got to be more. I want more. I remember even watching Annie, like watching even just. I remember watching Annie, like, right, Annie, with Jamie Foxx and him taking, the young girl in, and I'm like, yeah, that's so cool. Like, you just like, you get what I'm saying, and she's just like in amazement. And then for me, like, I held on to that little bit of hope, like, dang, something could change, like your life could change. And Yandy was that for me. And I got to literally get that bit of hope that I had. She brought it to fruition, not to see it in the physical. So for me, being fostered by her it was a fresh start. It was a clean start. It was newness, and it was my idea of hope, of what I thought, the hope that I had in my head of like, something can happen better. There is more.
What have you learned from since being in that family? What have you learned about love and I guess trust? Through that journey.
Um, I would say that I learned that, families can be functional, right? You don't always have to have disagreements and fallouts, and just separate, right, and divide. That you guys can, take conflict head on. And not only that, things, whatever happens in house stays in house. No, but like, we can tackle this together, right, as a family. We could stay a unit and be able to disagree, amongst the same, building. So I would definitely say, like, she definitely showed me the other aspect of family, right? So came from a dysfunctional family, whereas being with Yandy definitely showed me the opposite side, and that's that families can be functional. Like, that's a real thing. I know that they try to push something different for the Black community on us, but that there is actually more. So I got to see that aspect, and I've learned so much. I've learned so much from you.
Yeah, no, I mean you described it earlier. You said she introduced you to a new world. Do you feel like that's where you get kind of your business smarts from? Mm.
Yeah, I think, even as a kid, I was in high school trying to figure out how I'm gonna make another dollar. I would make shirts, custom shirts, and all of that. So I think the hustle in me came from, the environment, being
Okay.
from Brownsville.
Mhm.
But being forced by, Yandy, actually, it helped me, like, fine tune that just a little bit more. Like, she just kept helping me sharpen that gift that was, like, within me. So it went from being a hustler to being, oh, now you're not a hustler who's operating on survival mode. No, you're an entrepreneur.
We've seen the difficult period that y'all both had, you and Yandy, and trying to balance your relationship in the public. But what steps, if you can share, what steps did you both, take to rebuild your trust, and how did that create a healthier dynamic for y'all?
I know therapy was, like, something that me and her did try together. Um, and it was helping because it introduced her to how I would see things versus how she would see things. Because, like I said, like, he comes from two different walks of life. He was raised, with her mom and her parents around. Where where I came from, I wasn't experiencing the same thing she experienced. I was seeing things from this very, like, gray lens, whereas for her, you see things very clear, like, it's this or that. And I'm like, no, for me, I see things like it's always in gray areas because I grew up in chaos. We went to therapy, and I remember us having conversations like that in therapy with a therapist to tell us, like, hey, Yanni, like, you have to be open to her perspective. You have to be open to her feelings and actually start taking yourself out of how you would typically operate, right? Like, she's not your average 15-year-old. You can't just tell her, be home by this time and think she's going to listen. Like, she came to you already fending for herself and take care of herself. So you may have to approach it just a little bit different. But therapy was one of those things that did help us because it acknowledged our two different walks of life. And then we got to talk about the uncomfortable thing that we felt, for each other, what we dealt with, behind the scenes. We'd ever see at the word planted, some of the friendships around us, and some of the aunts and uncles that I was introduced to. And I feel like for me and her, we just started to have those uncomfortable conversations. And, And I think there's like so much healing in that itself. And being able to like this is how I'm feeling, and be okay with like, all right, we don't have to get on solution, but I just need you to know where I'm at with it.
You said the hardest part about healing is pretending. Can you expound on that, if you remember?
Because it's like this duality, right, between who you are in the now and then who you build yourself to be. So for me, I knew that like when I was home, I was just this vulnerable, I was, and she's a crybaby, she's emotional. And that's just who I am, right? I work with that, own that. But around other people, my friends and stuff, I was like the dancing machine, the life of the party, give great advice, such a good time. She's full of laughter. It's his life. But to me, I'm living in sadness. I was depressed. I was down and out. I was struggling. And the hardest part, about healing is definitely pretending, because now I have to actually not only acknowledge my truth, and my truth was that I was sad, but I also have to acknowledge this person that I made myself to be for everybody else that I really wasn't.
With your permission, first one, would you like to talk about what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. And then also two, I have here the post you made that went viral. Are you okay if I read that?
Yeah, let's talk. It's healing for me. I gotta talk about it so I could just let it go. I gotta free myself from all of those emotions, and I can only free myself if I acknowledge them, right? And sit in them and feel them, and then allow them to subside.
To start off, you posted, if committing suicide was easy to do, I would have been did it. I would actually do it right now. What was going on, in your mind when you made that post?
I think the enemy we just haven't hit way. I felt a lot of things, right? And it almost felt like my life was flashing like before me. Like every bad thing that I've ever done in this lifetime that I've hid that no one may know about was like literally happening like before my eyes in a split second. And that for me was like this super scary. Because I'm like dealing with these thoughts, right? And I'm seeing all of these vivid memories of all the not so proud things that that I've done. And a lot of the mistakes, a lot of the pain that I've endured, all of that is just happening. And I just feel like the enemy was just having his way with my mind and my thoughts. Like he just was working overtime. And that, that came about from a text. I received a text from a person. And this is why people not having access to you is important, right? Let me spit that real quick, right? Because I got a text, and the text said that it would be so much better if you were just dead. This came from somebody that I love, somebody who I've allowed access to me, someone who I trusted, someone who I thought was, who meant me well. But now that as I say that sentence out loud, I could only assume that this person, you can't have good intention saying that to someone. And for a long, I go back and forth, justifying it, wanting to see the good in the person, being able to say, okay, maybe that was the enemy working on them, having his way with them, versus who they actually wanted to be, right? Cool. Bunch of confusion, right? That I'm still navigating through right now. I wrote time in therapy. But I received a text, and that text literally opened up the portal in my mind for me to just literally feel that way now. Now I'm literally just like, yeah, go ahead. You already cut yourself. Go.
You felt like that text was a cut.
It felt like a cut, especially coming from somebody who knew that I already dealt with depression. Okay. Right. So this is somebody who I love. So it was harsh, like, seeing that, and it's like, damn, like, I love you so much. And like hearing that, like, from you, just like, it just like broke me so bad because it just made me question like dang, sometimes like you could love people and they don't even really love you. And for me, like, it stirred up so much emotion in me because it made me start to question like my idea of love. Like, is my judgment of love right? Am I choosing the right people to be in relations with? Like, it made me just question everything about self. Okay, who are you choosing to be surrounded by? Like you gotta look entirely at self, like something that you're not doing, you know. So I went like through so much like dissonance and like in my head of just feeling like my judgment on character, my judgment on just life itself just was bad. And hearing that from somebody that I love, you know, and them knowing my trauma and knowing the things I've been through. So hearing that from them, it really just it hurt me. And it led me directly to feeling like, you know what, like there's somebody who I love and I think she's right. This probably will be so much better I just go. And that direct access of this person having access to me led to the portal of the enemy, like just saying, hey, yep, it just came like a flood. And all the emotions, just, you know, if they dawned on me, my thoughts, everything flashed before my eyes. Yeah, but I just couldn't seem to just do it. Like I was feeling how I was feeling. And I remember like feeling like I want to do this thing, but there's another part of me that's still hopeful. Like there's something else. Like if you just stick around long enough, like it'll change. Like why do I keep feeling hopeful for everything? Like why does this keep like this whole thing just keeps appearing for me in a lot of ways. And I was, you know, dealing with those emotions in a moment and wanting to commit. But for some reason I was hopeful and I ended up texting my friends, texting people who I knew could pray for me. And they led me, you know, right into prayer and those things, that moment in itself, it helped me to, you know, to grab those thoughts captive literally and be able to think back, you know, my power and just reminding myself like, hey, you obviously in spiritual warfare or something just ain't right. And it's time for you to actually go seek help and really get to help me and stop playing around. Because I don't want to have that moment again. It's one of those things that I feel like if I could hold myself or hold anyone from experiencing that, I would. However, I do know that I needed to experience that. Because it has led me to this moment where I'm able to say that God is actually doing something new in me. And that's when we feel good. You know, I'm still hopeful that like the days are getting better. Like the clouds are subsiding. My thoughts are becoming my own thoughts now. And me being able to control the people that I have in my environment who pour to me and speak life to me. And me just actually coming on the other side, and that feels good. I'm glad that that experience happened the way it did. And that goes back to what I told you about last night, right? Like me having to be okay with those emotions and say like, damn, like this hurts.
Yeah.
Like I feel that. Like, damn, like this hurts. Like I have to let someone go that I wanted to do life with or I wanted in my life. But being able to say like, oh, God works for you.
Yeah.
It was just getting going with it. You know, it hurts.
I was telling you about the book that I'm reading. You know, How to Be Free. But in that book, the author describes, you know, the journey to freedom there will be obstacles, and I guess, you know, with that in mind, what I'm trying to ask you is, you know, that was your obstacle, right? You know, how did you find, you know, your pathway within that?
I don't even know how I found my pathway within it because I'm literally in it. Like that post was the end of July, first week of August.
Yeah.
September. So you get what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm literally figuring it out in real time. But I do think something about me. I don't know. I feel like the anointing of God is actually over my life. I'm gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it. I feel like I'm chosen. I think something about me is special. And I think that God has been with me through a lot of the things that I've endured in life. And I think that part has kept me actually up until this moment, right? And I think that now I'm fine-tuning those aspects about me, like my spirituality, right? Me knowing like, hey, like you physically was in that moment wanting to commit. And if it was up to you, you would have did it physically. But there was something within you that didn't allow you to do that. So what was that something? And I think I would like to figure out something with the anointing of God over me. And him wanting to actually be there with me to show me like you're always with me. I got you. I'm always here. You may not see it, you may not feel it, but I am here. I'm around. And now I feel like I'm doing life with God, and it feels definitely like just being serious about my walk, my faith, and taking my anchor out of this fucking world, right? The clout, the likes, all of that shit is bullshit. The validation, the attention, taking my anchor out of that and anchoring it in Him. In His Word. What does the Bible say? I'm curious. Who are you, God? Who's your son? Me actually wanting to learn like these things now. I'm actually doing the work. And now I'm discovering just newness. Like, oh, I could take captive every thought that arises in this mind. I'm doing it. I wish somebody would have taught us that in school.
Yeah.
Maybe overthinking wouldn't be a thing if they had taught us that. But yeah, I feel like I'm in a different space. I'm in the fire still. I'm coming out to the other side. And truly, God has been with me through it all. And I think that transition has been how I've been able to get to this very moment. There's nobody.
I'm really glad you said that, because when you said you haven't completely found that pathway yet, my brain jumped to still like, are you still captive by your previous thoughts? But I'm glad you said that a few seconds ago, that you're finding your way, and I feel like that's being active is what's important, because like I said, I'm gonna keep mentioning this book, but I really, really am enjoying this book. But sometimes we can be imprisoned by those thoughts, and man, are they powerful. Like we've all So it's really glad to hear you say that, and also I'm gonna say this, when you, not that you pay attention to comments or what people say, but you mentioned being the chosen one, and I feel like a lot of people have that same sentiment towards you. So when people see stuff like that, I think a lot of the conversations online that I saw, not a lot, but very few, were like, oh, like she kind of has it already. Like she has the life. She has this. That's why I really wanted to talk to you, because I'm like, sometimes people see your life and they think you have it. It's like, well, how could you ever make a post like that? You have everything that we all want, but
and I hope somebody listens to this. I'm telling you, like, romanticize your own life.
Ooh.
Stop romanticizing everybody else's life.
Yeah.
Because you start to idolize it, and you start to do what I did. You start to fix these situations to be this something that it's not. You try to make puzzle pieces fit together that don't exist. It's not even here. You don't even have the tools to do it. You think you're a magician? You think you're the genie? You just gonna make this set thing appear and make it like, bro, we gotta stop with the aesthetics. Live your life for self. Do what works for you. What do I want my life to look like? Now what she's doing, now what Instagram said, now what Facebook, what do I want my life to look like? What is my journey? Let me figure that out for self. We all got a purpose, we all got a calling. You gotta tap into it, that's it. But I think for me, that's that thing too, where it's like, why do I think my life is so perfect? Because of who my mom is? Okay, so because of my association to a person, that means my life is perfect. Okay, that tells me what I need to know about a person. I don't even want to have a conversation with you.
Those thoughts are interesting, because like I said, like you almost can't blame people for having those thoughts, because they don't have the access to you, so they can't. All they see is what you give them, and
so okay. I feel you on that. Like, all they see is what you give them.
And that's the illusion of social media.
Right, that's the illusion of social media, right? But that's why I just feel like, me saying that to you, like, I was anchored in the world, right? Because I was trying to be the Instagram couple. I wanted to look this way. I wanted my life to look this. Every accomplishment I need to post it. Like, that's what the world was doing. Just for you and I think you got the blessing. This was enough. This was all I needed. And if this was the last thing you was going to give me, that's it. I'm good with it, right? But I was anchored in the world because I started to feel like I'm actually just doing some of this shit for content, matter of fact. But me being able to acknowledge that was real. Like, I I don't like some of this stuff that I'm doing. I really don't care for drinking. And, you know, I'm, like 65 days clean. I'm on a sobriety journey. Don't smoke, don't drink. But I was doing all this said things because it was cool. You go to the club, you get a black truck, you gotta take pictures. It's like all this shit is exhausting because by the end of the night, I got a hangover and I'm throwing up. And I can't even make it to the next day.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to do that. That can't be peace. That's peace?
No.
That's not peace. There's no way.
Yeah.
But me being able to acknowledge that, like, dang, you really anchored in the world. You're doing exactly what they say. And you live by it, you're going to die by it. And I was literally living that out. Like, you want that relationship? Yeah, you're going to get the relationship. You want to be in the club? You want the money? You want the likes? You want the lifestyle? Yeah, you can have it. But you, okay, to y'all, I had it. Okay, I had it. And I still wasn't happy. So now what's next? What's next? No, I don't want that. I'm sick of my anger. I'm going to go see what's on this other side. Because the people in church, they look a little different. I actually like the way they look. Let me go try that. I tried it. I got a better date, and I'm loving it. I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back. I think my sobriety journey is about to be a lifestyle. And it was something that was like a detox that literally led me into 30 days, now I'm like, did 30 days. After the 30 days, I'm like, oh, I'm going. I'm going to keep going. But all of this was by me learning. Like being able to say, like, I wanted to be an it girl because that's what social media was pushing. They was telling me I can't be an influencer if I'm not an it girl.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, again, back to the illusion of the internet. Did your relationship change with, some of your influencing, am I saying the word right? Influencer friends. Did your relationship change? Okay.
Oh, wait, because then I'm going to help me.
Uh-huh.
No, I don't need you to come out to the club with me. No, we can't sit around and smoke. You don't smoke. Like, so the conversation is just get. When you even think about it, you just ask yourself, what do me and this person have in common? You pull that away, right? The things that we used to do, and then now you realize there was actually no relationship. I just bonded over specific things, but there was no depth to the relationship. And that's what I got to see now. I'm like, oh, wow. I'm an intellectual where I love having deep conversations like this. I love talking to people, right? That's just my thing. That's what I love. That's what stimulates me. That's what thrills me. That's peace for me. Like someone being able to teach me something, me just learning and just, having fulfilling conversations that are driven by purpose. And I was not having that with nobody. I was just having just drinking conversations. Okay, you want exit 7? Hi, what we doing? Pick it up? Drop it off? Who do you think will be at the club at night? What time we going to pick each other up? Oh, yo, remember that? Now the next day, now we talking about the club. Yo, you remember we see such and such in the section? The same shit. But that's not, I know I like this, but I'm doing this though.
Yeah. Man, Infinity, I could talk to you forever. I fucking enjoyed your mind. Like I knew I was gonna enjoy this conversation from watching some of your content, but like I don't even know you, but I just enjoy how you approach life, and I think that's beautiful. I think a lot of people need to. I think a lot of people need, to. I don't want to say do life like that because it's got to be something that you want to do. So I don't want to just push it on people to just be like, yo, everyone needs to be like you, but. Well, or live the life that they truly want to live, because I feel like you're truly living a life that you want to live. So, my last question to you before I get you out of here, what have you learned about protecting your peace while being active as an influencer?
I made this post last night, and it was just saying that anything of confusion is the enemy, and that has been sticking with me on these last 24 hours. And that helps you just protect your peace, because if it's confusing, it just literally helps you say, okay, that's confusing. I'm going the opposite way. And I think being able to identify that, like I literally ask myself, is this confusing? I don't have a yes or no. That has been helping me put up parameters for protecting my peace. And it's been keeping me just reserved. Like I'm okay with being reserved now. Like, all right, I'll be to the side. Like I'll be in the corner. I'll be on the shelf. Like, I'm okay with being a hidden gem. Like, that's fine with me. And I think just that itself, like, just confusion. Anything of confusion is not like a God, it's the enemy's work. And me being able to put that up, that perimeter up, has helped me protect my peace. And I'm very stern on that thing. Like, if it's not clear, it's costing me my peace.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have to overthink. And it is waiting for so much other stuff. And I'm just like, I don't have time for it. I've been there, I've done it, I live there. I don't want that no more. And for me, peace looks like clarity. I'm going to stay, that's where I'm going to stay at.
I like that, man. Infinity.
All right.
I got so much fucking respect for you, man.
Thank you for the opportunity. Like,
nah, thank you.
I'm like, wait, me?
I love your story, man. I love, I think, yeah, we'll see right there. I love your story. But I think, I've always said, use your platform responsibly. So I'm all for both. I'm all for ratchet and righteous. I'm all for both. I'm all for ratchet and righteous. Okay. So, but you got to mix them both, So thank you so much for joining me. Everybody else, this is the New Era Show. Of course, I go by Art, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, peace.